Shalom, shalom, everybody. DJ.
Shalom, everybody.
Okay, so we look like we're experiencing some difficulty here. Let me see. Everything good. Everything good. All right. Peace, peace, y'all. Pound the like button on your way in. I want to talk about DJ Twitch, Ellen DeGeneres, former DJ. Was this a suicide or another industry sacrifice? Now, before this situation occurred with the untimely death of DJ Twitch boss, I didn't really know this brother. I wasn't aware of what he done or his impact on the industry and the fact that he's actually been around for quite some time. And he's known in a lot of social circles within the industry. Later on throughout his career, he started to speak on certain social issues. Although he's married to a Caucasian woman, it didn't really stop him from speaking on certain ails of society. Um, there's a lot of questions that I have regarding his death because something just doesn't add up. You can call it a gut feeling, you can call it intuition, or whatever you may call it, but something really just don't add up. This gentleman been on So You Think You Can Dance. This gentleman is seems to be a very happy individual. He has 3 children, seems to be very happily married, and on top of all of that, at 40 years old, he seems to take his health conditions seriously. I mean, the man seemed like he exercised and took care of himself. It doesn't seem right that he would just walk off out of nowhere and terminate himself. It just don't add up. It really don't add up. And I know how the industry works, and I understand how these rituals are conducted. And I told you, brothers and sisters, prior to even prior to the death of Takeoff, I told y'all that around the holiday time, all the way from Halloween all the way to the winter solstice, all through spring equinox, that the Hollywood witches and warlocks will be conducting lots of rituals and sacrifices. And the fact that this brother came from the Ellen DeGeneres show warrants a lot of questions in itself. Because Ellen DeGeneres, you get it, degenerate, Ellen degenerate. Matter of fact, let's get the definition of degenerate, right? Let's get the definition.
All through spring.
So I'm not sure why this is playing on my phone. I have no idea why they do this every time I stream. But hold on one moment. I can literally not even be logged in and it would be playing on my phone. It's crazy. But y'all give me a moment. Let me pull this up. Degenerous or degenerate.
Warrants a lot of questions.
It's still playing and I didn't close everything.
Because Ellen DeGeneres.
This is how we know they be tapping these damn devices. This is how I know for a fact they tap these devices. Let's get there again. Degenerous.
Degenerate.
We're talking about an immoral or corrupt person. Decline or deteriorate physically or mentally or morally. To deteriorate, decline, to sink. And it seemed like this whole society is going into degeneracy. Not to mention, Ellen DeGeneres lives in alternative lifestyles. She was one of the first actresses, and a lot of people didn't know this, to actually play in an openly gay relationship on the big screen. See, a lot of people didn't know that. So she's always been a prime player when it comes to a certain agenda. She's always been a key player. I can assure you, she's allegedly been in pretty much all of the rituals, all of the Hollywood Hills, all of the show, all of the Eyes Wide Shut um, get-togethers and parties. I can assure you, Ellen DeGeneres has been around for quite some time, right? Decades. She has played a role in the debauchery. Also, what else does degenerate mean?
Degenerate.
Degenerate, right? It also means reprobate. Yeah, it means reprobate. So if you can imagine, she's always had her hands in the industry, a key player. And I would really be interested to know what Stephen tWitch, what his relationship with her was previous to his death, number one. And I would really like to know what was his wife's relationship with Ellen, right? Now, see, I'm going to point to who I believe it is, who's the culprit of the sacrifice. I don't think this is something random. And I'm saying alleged for all sense and purposes. It's rumored that she's a Rockefeller as well. Not to mention, he is not the only cast member who has mysteriously died. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that either, right? There has been other members of her staff who have died. Not even to mention Anne Heek, who died in a car accident last year, who pretty much jumped out of her body bag, if y'all can remember. And they zipping her back up, and it was case closed. They zipping her back up in her body bag on the scene. If y'all can remember that last year. And he happens to be a former lover of Ellen DeGeneres. So if you look at her character, if you look at what goes on around her, there's a dark side to Ellen DeGeneres outside of daytime television. And there's been a lot of death surrounding this person. So I'm building up a case, right? And then we have Stephen tWitch's last interview, which I'll be reacting to, but I'm gonna build this case up and how he was in more than likely a very toxic environment. Hollywood is just not worth it. Too many wicked, sinister people out here, right? Now, some of y'all may not remember this, but Ellen, speaking of Ellen DeGeneres, according to BuzzFeedNews.com, Ellen DeGeneres, and this was back in 2020 when her show got canceled. And some of the things that she was accused of and why it was canceled. Ellen DeGeneres has decided to end her daytime talk show, which has faltered in the ratings after allegations of a toxic work environment, where top producers engage in a wide range of sexual misconduct with lower level employees. Yeah. So when we say Ellen degenerate, there was some degeneracy going on, allegedly, with a lot of her employees. Sexual misconduct, to the point where it gotten so bad that it was in her best interest to actually end the show, opposed to, defending herself, getting lawyered up, and denying these allegations. She said, listen, we need to go ahead and end the damn show because these people have a case. That's the way I take it. When you don't fight against these allegations, I believe that these people are sexual deviants. Representatives for the show did not immediately return requests for the comment, but in a statement to the Hollywood Reporter on Wednesday, DeGeneres said her up-and-coming 19th season will be the last. She also framed the decision around the show. So, listen, they didn't even want to fight back. Whatever it was so damaging that she didn't even want to bring it to public's attention. She much rather had just dropped it. It goes on to say, it says she also framed the decision around the show no longer being a creative challenge. So she basically said, listen, this is no longer a creative challenge. I'm going to stop this show. So she made up a lie, right? I'm not challenged anymore creatively, opposed to, I didn't do this. And she goes on to say, when you're a creative person, you constantly need to be challenged. And as great as the show is, and as fun as it is, just not a challenge anymore. DeGeneres told the Hollywood Reporter. So that's what happened. It got swept under the rug, and it was never to be heard of again. All of the so-called victims, they never got their day in court. And let me just put this out here. There are two set of laws that we are living by in this Babylonian system. There's something called the High Court, and then there's something called the Supreme Court, and then there's all the other courts. Now, this High Court thing is where the elitists form their own rules. They live by a different set of laws than everybody else. And the way we view things is from a murky lens because they operate on certain codes. Now, these codes are rules that are pretty much written in invisible ink. Some would say that there are Masonic laws in place. Some would say that there's bloodline laws in place. And some would say that it's just overall occultism and Satanism on an unprecedented level and an organized level, where they're pretty much people have diplomatic immunity and they're above the law unless they break the laws of the High Court, unless they jeopardize what is deemed, I would say, against the rules or the code of conduct. Other than that, they pretty much have diplomatic immunity. That's how it works with the elite, right? Exactly. Spirit and soul, the system's a joke. It really is. And if you're looking at this, while the whole world is being distracted by the Young Thug, the YSL case, the whole world is being distracted by Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. Here we have another sacrifice on our hands. We're talking about more than likely a Christmas sacrifice. Y'all notice how all these people end up dying right before Christmas time. Like, what's really the meaning of this? Why around the pagan holidays, these people always end up mysteriously passing away? It just doesn't add up. And also, with Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion, along with the YSL trial, there's a lot of distractions being put out there. The whole internet is captivated and distracted while there's a lot going on in the world right now. They're distracting us from a lot, ladies and gentlemen. They're distracting us from the fact that there were over 130 natural disasters within the last 48 hours. So while the Most High God is shaking things up, they're really going full-fledged with the celebrity gossip. But what we're exposing today, this evening, is deeper than the celebrity gossip, because we're going to expose the witches and warlocks and how they work. But with no further ado, I'm going to react to Stephen Boss Twitch's last interview. And whoever labeled this video, they claimed that he gave warning signs that he was pretty much going to terminate himself. I basically look at this as he's giving warning signs of a pending sacrifice, because people have spiritual insight a lot of the times. People have intuition. People get that gut feeling. And a lot of the times when you see these intense last moments of a person's life, is because they can just feel it in the air. They can feel something coming. We've seen the same thing with Coolio. Before Coolio passed on, he had a real intense moment online. And I would attribute Stephen Twitch Boss having the same type of moment. I'm gonna go ahead and play this.
Do we have your attention yet? Like we, the people, we black people, we, your nation. And I'm not talking about the attention that you're paying with the tweets. And I'm not talking.
Now, I believe that this is one of his last moments. There's quite a few videos fluctuating on social media labeled his last moment. I have narrowed it down to about 3 videos, and I believe this is one of them. Now, if we want to put everything in context to what he's talking about right now, I believe this is pretty much piggybacking a previous video of this brother talking about Breonna Taylor and actually trying to bring justice to that situation. So he's doing some pretty much some social work, so to speak, some social activism, and he's pretty much pushing that narrative, and that's the context of this video. All right, let's go.
Talking about that. It's helicopters flying by us right now. The attention that could potentially evoke feeling and emotion, sadness, anger, empathy, even spark imagination. Like, have you imagined what it would be like?
You know, the interesting part, let me read this comment from Lady P. She says, there's a picture circulating online of him and Ellen hugging with a pointing his index finger at Ellen. In hindsight, it's like he's a legend, possibly saying she did it. You know, it's very interesting because he has recently been on this whole wave of speaking on racial issues, and throughout a lot of allegations of people stepping forward saying that Ellen DeGeneres created a very hostile work environment, there was also accusations of racism. There was a lot of accusations. Matter of fact, if I can pull something up real quick, just the fact that he's speaking on social issues. When it came to the toxic workplace, employees, some of their accusations range from Ellen DeGeneres would let me pull these things up. Y'all give me one moment. I'm on BuzzFeed for the record. Not only was there sexual misconduct, but there was the accusation of unfair treatment based on race. One employee goes on to say, when she started to speak up about the discrimination, let me read this. When the former employee brought up issues of race and representation on the show, and asked producers not to use offensive terms like spirit animal in segments, her colleagues call it the PC police. So they were referring to Black people as spirit animals, right? This is one of the things that some of the people had an issue with. When she started to speak up about the discrimination, she said all of her colleagues distanced themselves from her. Whenever I brought up an issue to my white male boss, he would bring up some random story about some random Black friend that he had and how they managed to get over stuff, she said. He would use his Black friend as some way to say, I understand your struggle, but it was all performative bullshit. So this is what was going on. In the show, there was a lot of Black cast members and employees who had issues with how the white staff dealt with things. And now you have this former DJ of Ellen DeGeneres that's been nothing but smiles. He's played the role of the token Negro. He's literally played that role. And if we learn anything from Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, there's some tension brewing on these daytime television shows. There's some tension brewing when it comes to race, especially with all these talks going on the table about who God's people are. With all of this controversy going on in Hollywood, there's a lot of friction going on, and people are pretty much choosing sides. So I would not doubt that this has some race agenda attached to it. So I think that's something we can point to. I really do. especially since he's been speaking on these issues. Right? Let's go.
For your sons to be hunted down the way that being killed in broad daylight while the people taping felt powerless because all they could do is tape.
So I don't know if he's speaking in regards to George Floyd in this situation or countless other melanated people who has lost their lives by the hands of police brutality and wrongful deaths. But he's clearly making a social activist claim here. He's really playing that position in that role. Somebody said, could his wife possibly been a handler? That is very, hey, I would not doubt that. Yep, 2023 is going to be exposure season for sure. Could his wife have been a handler? And this is one of those situations where she was reporting back. Because something is not adding up. Now, if you look at some of what was going on Ellen, they said after 1 year of Ellen, she said she asked for a raise. And this is one of the same lady who was speaking in regards to the racism that was going on. After 1 year at Ellen, she said she asked for a raise after learning another recent hire made double for doing the same job. Despite her having worked in the television industry for a decade, her manager told her they see what they could do, but months went by and nothing happened, she said. So what you melanated people got to understand is, listen, it's their game. You just play it. You are a part of their industry. You signed their contract. You on their daytime television shows. You pretty much work for them. And whatever they're going to give you, pennies on the dollar, they're going to toss you peanuts. It is what it is. And this is why I constantly preach, you got to get it on your own. You cannot work for these people. We're at a time where social media can be taken advantage of in a positive way, where you can do your own thing. I believe Ellen DeGeneres is a racist witch, a reprobate. I believe she harbors the succubus spirit. I believe that she is demonically possessed, and she attends all the Hollywood eyes wide shut meetings, and she's a part of the agenda. And this innocent man here worked for something that was more dark than he can probably perceive. And being a light. So y'all got to understand, right now, all you chosen ones got to understand it's dangerous grounds you living in when you mix yourself in with the industry, because their goal is to extinguish the light. That's what the darkness is trying to do. They're trying to consume and extinguish the light. Now, if you a light spot in a dark industry, you bringing nothing but smiles. Your energy, just like takeoffs, is good energy. Then guess what? Them demons and serpents, oh, they plotting, they planning, they strategizing. Hollywood is a dark, sinister place. All right? That's what you really got to understand here.
You're giving us tweets, and you're also giving us military threats. And yeah, I heard the speech. I heard it. I heard the speech, the written speech, but it's different. It's different from when you actually feel something and you actually just
business. Excuse the commercial. Now I want to chime in actually at this point, because what I'm getting from this man is someone who's waking up, someone who is in the Get Out program, someone who has basically been in the hills dealing with a certain demographic of people for a long time now, but his blood, the blood of his ancestors, is calling from the graves and Ellen or his wife is not in front of him, and I'm not going to falsely accuse his wife, but I would really like to know her relationship with Ellen DeGeneres. I would not be surprised if that's one of the first outlets or platforms that she goes on, because typically that's how they would do things. It seems like nobody is in front of him with the teacup right now, and he's thinking, and none of the witches or warlocks are there to overshadow his thoughts. That's what I'm taking of it. I'm not looking at this as a man who wants to hurt himself. He doesn't give me that type of energy. He's trying to become more enlightened. He's looking at what's going on with the wrongful deaths. He wonders, do they even see what's going on with my people? Right? See, everybody who is married to an alternative nation or race doesn't mean that they don't have the propensity to be enlightened. That's something we got to understand as people and stop rushing to judgment. All right, let's continue.
From your heart, because you know, when you address the NFL players for kneeling for this very reason, those sons of bitches, as you called them, that came from the heart. So where's that energy? Where is that? I don't know. But the nation is not okay right now.
Now, I don't know if this is an older video or a newer video. It's hard to tell. You got so many content creators saying that this is the final video. They're labeling it this way. But there's another video going to play right after this. And I believe this one, with the next video they're going to play, is more up to date. So y'all just please bear with me. Let's continue.
And so I know you got a hard job. It's part of the job description. But do we have your attention? Like, what are you about to do?
Now, you know, when somebody who has been exposed to the industry begins to speak, whether he be going live, Instagram, whatever the case may be, they're always watching. Even if the contractual agreement is over, you're no longer Ellen DeGeneres DJ. Let's say hypothetically the show is over. You feel like you can go live your life, get on Instagram, get on social media, post what you want on Twitter, but you sign to a major record label or you sign a major television contract. They're always watching you. They're always watching you. There's always agents, because you've agreed to becoming one with the system, with the matrix, and they're going to always watch. And when you speak certain things, or they even get the inkling that you about to tell the play, you about to expose the play, and you breaking the oath of silence, then better believe, you know, it's only so long you can survive after that. Your days become numbered. This is how this thing works. True Love, thank you for the $10 contribution. Says his wife didn't even speak up for him. I love your insight and thank you for your great work, King Newbury. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Thank you, True Love.
What are you doing right now? I'm talking about past the military threat. What are you doing right now? Dear Mr. President, Jacob Blake.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something real quick, man. I posted something yesterday about the Jacob Blake incident that happened. You know, I've seen the video. read things all about it, and just I posted it to raise awareness and also just to share and outrage, man. This is happening too much. And even my caption said, is this routine becoming familiar? The routine of posting about.
Okay, so the Jacob Blake situation took place August 23rd, 2020, where a 29-year-old black man was shot and seriously injured by a police officer. I don't know if it was a new verdict that came in where that officer walked scot-free. And if that's not the case, I don't know why these videos are being labeled his last interview before death. I mean, every video, it's like I'm seeing 10 and 20 videos saying this is his last video. But what it is showing is he's speaking in regards to social issues, right? And if there's another video, I want y'all to share in the chat, and I will be organically reacting to it. If there's another video that you all know of that is considered his last one, because to me, this is not adding up. People saying this is the last. Every video is labeled like this. I'm not sure what content creators are doing. I don't know if they're trying to confuse the masses, but to be totally frank with you, the moment where I heard it was Ellen DeGeneres' former DJ, and it was labeled a suicide, it automatically didn't sit right with me. Just because I understand that Ellen DeGeneres is a witch, just like your Oprah Winfrey's and pretty much anybody else that they give a daytime television show. Even all the women of The View are a bunch of witches too. It is what it is. I know that your innocent ears can't handle that, or you just too blind to see. Hollywood is sick. DeGeneres is an actual degenerate. More than likely, she drinks adrenochrome, and she participates in all the rituals. There's a lot of death around that woman, and I can bring up more people who died around her, which we'll be showing. We're gonna be bringing out some receipts about this witch, right? But let's continue.
About unarmed black folks being brutalized, and then following up with the hashtag justice for fill in the blank. And then in the comment section, there everybody goes, well, what about Twitch, don't post that, don't divide us like that. Don't push that narrative, Twitch. Like, yo, like I don't have to push the narrative. The narrative's already happening.
See, he has to battle with the actual chat because they believe that he's pushing racial divide. And really, he has half-bred children. He has a Caucasian wife. He's saying there's real issues within this country where we're being unfairly treated. Who is watching this? Yeah, and Heek is one of them. Ellen, 2x X, both fire crash. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of death around Ellen. There was more cast members that died, which I'm gonna pull up some names here. Like, what's going on with this person? How you gotta understand, in order for you to have a television show for decades, to have that sort of longevity in the industry on daytime television, better believe you've done some things. Not to mention the accusations of her child trafficking through a New Jersey pizza shop. I mean, come on, man. Not too many people even know about that, right? Yeah, I mean, there's some accusations on Ellen DeGeneres. Y'all, we talking about one of the highest witches, the highest ranked witches in Hollywood. And if you ask me, and I think I wouldn't doubt if she had something to do with getting them brakes cut, having that body bag zipping up, let alone this innocent black male losing his life. And everything I'm bringing out, you can look up. It's all out there.
And also for everybody that answered the post asking me about, well, what about the 5-year-old that was killed by this person? Yo, what happened to Cannon? That was awful. That was tragedy. That was tragedy. And justice is being carried out on the person that did that. If I'm not mistaken, the person that committed that atrocity is arrested and charged with first-degree murder. We still yelling about justice for Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd.
I don't think that the powers that be wanted the token black guy from Ellen DeGeneres to be speaking like this, to actually be searching some type of justice in this broken system. He was pretty much viewed as a Wayne Brady, so to speak, that guy that fits in. And again, as I said, if you learn anything from the Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless situation, listen, you may have a seat at the table, but you're not really welcome there. You there at the table, but you are expendable. You are expendable. You may be welcome in certain social functions and gatherings, but you really don't belong there. Yeah, you could be here if you. Let me tell you something. These type of people in these social circles, they don't mind having the happy black guy around, the token black guy. But as soon as that token black guy becomes conscious and speaks on social issues, oh, they feel some type of way. I wouldn't doubt if it was turmoil in his household, the way he's speaking. I find it ironic how pictures by the Christmas tree are being released, him with his wife, just making it seem like it's the perfect scenario and nobody can see this coming. He's just a happy guy. Nobody can see this coming. I'm pretty sure that there were things going on based on his political views. That alone more than likely sowed some type of division within the home. Right? And we just speculate. And I want everybody watching just to thumb the video up. Pound the like button. Let's continue.
Elijah McClain. Sandra Bland. Trayvon Martin. Samir Rice. Yo, I'm just Philando Castile. And countless others that are literally happening, it seems like, every other week. But y'all want to get in the comment section and be like, oh, well, what about this? Like, why is it like when we're raising awareness on something that's happening against human rights, rather than just, if you're going to leave a comment saying, yo, that is messed up. Man, that's messed up. You got to go, yeah, but what about?
So let me get this right. People believe that this is signs of a person who wants to off themselves. Why? Because he's not smiling right now. Why? Because he's actually debating people in his comment section. I mean, is the token black guy supposed to be happy all the time? And if they are not happy and dancing and singing in every waking moment of their lives, that is telltale signs that they were going to hurt themselves? You know what it is? Ellen DeGeneres, along with the conspirators, the alleged conspirators, in my opinion, they would have had a very difficult time trying to make this man look like a psychopath. They'll have a very difficult time in trying to make him look like he was depressed as well, or if there was any psychological issues with this gentleman. And that's why the internet spreads certain narratives, and social media allows certain narratives to be spread so we can believe it. So we can believe, okay, I see so many brothers. We see, you never know when a brother's depressed. I don't believe this man done anything to himself. That's the narrative they want to spit. They want to put across. I believe that somebody was watching this man. They say that he left without car keys. He suddenly just walked to a hotel and there he offed himself. That doesn't add up. Doesn't even begin to make sense. I believe somebody came to that home and he had to flee. Now, how he got into that hotel room and whatever happened afterwards, I'm telling you now, there's foul play involved, allegedly. Because it wouldn't make sense for him to leave out walking and end up in a hotel. How did he get there? Was it walking distance? Has anybody cased the environment? Does he live near a hotel? The only way that would make sense if somebody was in that house while nobody was there. Maybe somebody got the green light that he was home alone and he fled or he was snatched up. That's the only thing that really makes sense, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, exactly, Rashad Williams. It sounds more like he was kidnapped opposed to he just randomly left and, you know, he ended up going to a hotel and that's where they found him. That doesn't add up whatsoever.
Almost like trivializing it. Like it almost has this slight undertone, like you're a little tired of hearing this narrative. Oh, imagine that. Imagine that.
Wow.
Very saddening news. Stephen tWitch.
Okay, so it's almost like people are tired of hearing about the black on black crime, but they're not doing nothing to stop it. Now, I want to go to something else. I believe that it was a 911 call involved with the wife. And we're going to pull that up as well because I'm getting news as I'm streaming and we covering it. See, there's new details out on his final. There's new details out 3 hours ago. We're going to go to that. I believe there was a 911 call involved. There's more coroner reports and things of that nature that we're going to bring to the table. But I believe this points to a straight up ritual of blood sacrifice from the elite. I wouldn't. All right, excuse me. It's a commercial here. Give me a moment. Let me pull this up. All right, here's the latest. All right, let's go.
Tragic news made official. Twitch's death was a suicide. He killed himself with a gunshot to the head.
So they claim.
The medical examiner closed the case with that ruling, as new details are emerging about his final days.
All right, so according to the coroner, they closed it up. It's no longer a rumor. Hey, they're calling it a suicide. And listen, you can see they're dancing in front of the Christmas tree. Could this possibly been a Christmas ritual? Yep. Gabby Clark said, damn, Ellen got 2 sacrifices in 1 year. Exactly. Gabby, name the other individual. Other than Anne Heek, there was another person that died on her staff, and I can't particularly remember this person's name. If you know the name of that person, there was a part of her staff that died. Throw it in the chat so I can pull that up. Yeah, that was a quick investigation, no questions asked, right? Well, when you're a high-ranking witch, or part of the sacred coven, you know these things get swept under the rug.
Sunday, he danced with his wife at home. Tuesday, she rushed to a police station, telling cops she knew something was terribly wrong because Twitch suddenly left the house.
So, wait, let me get this right. So it wasn't a 911 call. She actually went to the police station. Ladies and gentlemen,
Call was on. Call was on. Call was on.
Yo, that can't even begin to add up. So let me get this right. She knew something was extremely wrong and left to go to the police station. That is very suspicious. Now, the way a lot of these rituals work, a lot of the times when the family member gets the memo, they don't know what to do with themselves. They get frantic. They begin to make moves that they shouldn't be making. They believe that they're setting an alibi up for themselves. So that move right there seems like a mistake. Why would? Because he left suddenly. So he suddenly left the house. You automatically thought something's wrong. Let me go to the police station. That, ladies and gentlemen, that's strange. Did you call him? Did you reach out to him? Were there phone calls made before you went to the police station? Could this be an insurance job? Something don't add up with this, man. I'm telling y'all.
Without his card and would not answer her calls. TMZ.
Okay, so she did call. He didn't answer her calls.
He reports Allison was so insistent.
She looked, never mind. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to start judging over here. I would really like to know her relationship with Ellen DeGeneres. I would really like to know. Very interesting stuff here. Yeah, just y'all take. I'm pausing this on her for a minute. Just look at this woman. Now, we don't judge books by the cover, but for all my people out there who have a spiritual eye of discernment, I want you to take a very, very careful look. Think about it. Just think about it.
That her husband's behavior was out of character, that police considered listing him as a critical missing persons case. LAPD examined tWitch and Allison's home for any video clues.
West Valley Unit, I'm in DV investigation.
Before a 911 call led them to his body at this Encino County.
So he was labeled a critical missing person? In how many hours, ladies and gentlemen? And how many hours was he labeled a critical? Was he put on a critical missing persons unit? Because I can tell you right now, if a melanated woman march up in there and say, "Look, my man just left the house. I think something is going on," they're going to tell you, "Look, listen, ma'am, you're going to have to wait at least 48 hours. Listen, you're going to have to wait at least 48 hours before we even consider this person missing." I'm just telling you the truth. That's how it worked where I live, where we from. You don't just walk up in there and be like, "Yo, this person is missing," and they automatically put him as a missing person. It's way too soon. I don't know how that even works.
Investigation.
Before a 911 call led them to his body at this Encino, California motel.
38-year-old male suspicious search.
He and Allison shared their dance moves with the world. And proudly, they showed off their 3 children. Just 3 weeks ago, they even talked to Jennifer Hudson about expanding their family.
I love the little babies. I love them.
Now, why would a man talk about expanding his family just months ago if he planned on harming himself? It just does not make any logical sense. A man don't talk about expanding his family. A man don't have 3 beautiful children and just want to harm themselves for no reason. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Yeah, 3 children 3 months ago, and he wanted to add to the children. There we go. There we go with the symbolism. They like to throw 33 in there for the 33rd degree Mason. Mason. They like to put that numerology in place. It just doesn't make sense. This man will hurt himself. Too happy and too proud.
And to be quite, yeah, it's a constant conversation.
A constant conversation about having more children.
Twitch
Get the music
rose to
out.
fame as runner-up on season 4 of So You Think You Can Dance, came back to the show for an all-star
Fair use.
season, and later he joined Mary Murphy on the judges panel.
Of course, we're just absolutely flabbergasted and in shock.
Has Ellen DeGeneres broke silence yet? Because I see a lot of people saying she's broken silence, but I have yet to personally see Ellen DeGeneres break silence. I want to hear what she has to say about her former DJ, and what I really would like to know from former staff members: did he seem as if he was suicidal in any way? That's some of the questions that need to be asked.
I can't believe we're having this conversation. When you heard what happened,
I saw an urgent message from one of my girlfriends. She just kept saying to me over and over again, she said, I can't believe, I don't want to be the one to tell you, Twitch is dead. And I just fell to the ground. I went behind the dress vendor and I just curled up in a ball and started bawling.
Yeah, so Delilah says she gave a generic message on her Instagram. See, why do these individuals always do that? Somebody who has been her DJ for all of these years, why not come forth and speak? They can never face the camera and speak. Now they got Instagram. They could just have their writers, their representatives, go ahead and type up some type of generic message. It's a damn shame. I want to see what Ellen got to say. Crazy.
do you replay conversations in your head now, looking back, going, was there like an instance where he took things too hard, or he went into a ball because he was, he couldn't express something, or he was frustrated?
That is an amazing question. What he's asking. That's what I want to know. Did he show any signs of something like this? Any at all?
Frustrated or anything?
Yeah, of course you go back through conversations or anything, and I can honestly tell you, not one time, not one inkling. All my experience with him has never been nothing more than joy, laughter, kidding around, hugs. I mean, that's just how it was. He led to be one of the biggest, most inspirational dancers on our show because of him coming back time and time again, never giving up. And from there on, he just went, he just soared after that.
See, that right there, that points to foul play. That point, and you can see that this dude right here is baffled, because anybody who study any levels of psychology couldn't wrap their mind around something like that. We're talking about months ago, he was talking about extending his family, constant conversations about adding to his family. Why would he do that? It's like, you know what I'm getting from this? It's like Hollywood is trying to tell you what they're doing. They're doing it. It's like they're insulting our intelligence through ideological subversion to the point where they want to really dumb the people down. Moving forward is almost as if they don't want the world to use any logic, have any levels of discernment and logic, bro. It's like they're telling you, like, yeah, he really didn't do this. Like, it's almost Christmas time. The story doesn't add up. It's not sufficient what we're telling you. And yeah, he gave no signs of doing that. But we can tell you anything at this point, because we have such a strong clutch on society. If we bring something out in the media, y'all gonna believe it because we said it. There's two different laws that govern this country. And I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to crime, there's no justice. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. I was watching a little bit of the YSL live court feed today. And just the way the judge was condemning those who actually did the investigation. When it comes to these gang banging murderers who sell drugs, who are on all kind of records, just the way that it was, just the way the court was even conducted today in that case, just showed me that there's no real justice in this society. If you got the money, the judge, the lawyers, the police, the prosecutor, even everybody gonna be, everybody gonna be involved in just following the paper trail. Yeah, I seen Columbus Short alluded to this brother losing investment money. And he's saying that may have been the reason why he ended his life. I'm just not believing that. I'm not believing that at all. Yeah, this place seems to be the devil's playground. A lot of collusion, a lot of corruption, a lot of injustice going on in this system. Seriously.
The tragic irony, the guy who never gave up, gave up.
It doesn't make sense.
It'll
never make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It will never make sense. But that's what society wants. They want you to believe things that don't make sense. This is the world you're living in has become. They want you to believe things that don't make sense. And people like us who actually question things, we're going to be outlawed in society. We're going to be called crazy and conspiracy theorists and all of these things. When you keep on doing things that don't make sense. You keep showing us things constantly that don't make sense. It don't make sense that in Takeoff's death, that the only person in that circle that we didn't see with a firearm gets charged with murder. That doesn't make sense. When we actually seen somebody lift a gun up and fire that gun, and that person walks away scot-free. It makes no sense when you're looking at a case with a group called Mob Ties, and somebody gets murdered in their private party, and everybody doesn't get arrested. That doesn't make sense. Nothing in this society makes sense. The death of Twitch boss don't make sense. I believe it was a blood sacrifice. It was a ritual. It don't add up.
To me.
Twitch was, of course, Ellen DeGeneres' resident DJ, and later...
See, he was right next to this suit pants wearing Illuminati puppet witch his entire career. And while she was smiling in your face, better believe she was looking to take you out. And this is just my theory. And I'm saying alleged with everything, but this is what I believe. I believe she was a sacrifice. I believe he was a sacrifice, pardon me, for Ellen DeGeneres and whoever else is a part of this satanic coven.
Became a co-executive producer on the show, and he broke down at the end of Ellen's daytime TV run.
Something that I'll always remember is that you gave me a place where I could just be myself.
And former First Lady Michelle Obama was a frequent guest on the Ellen Show.
Of course he was. I mean, of course she was. And y'all remember this scene right here with her dancing with Michelle, or whatever.
She posted her own tribute. Stephen was an incredible force, she said.
So Michelle Obama had something to say. Stephen was an incredible force. So as you can see, he was up there. He was known by them all. All the great witches, all the Babylonian inner circle. Stephen was around them. He's around all of them. Stephen was an incredible force, someone who radiated kindness and positivity and made sure that people around him could feel it too. That was the issue. He radiated with positivity and kindness, but he was in the wrong place. He was in Hollywood. He was around the Obamas, and we know that Michelle Obama and Ellen DeGeneres was close friends. We know that it's a fraternal order. You cannot be mixed in with these people and think you're gonna live your life. Listen, some of y'all ready to just bust it wide open for fame, y'all. Some of y'all out there that's watching this video, you would do any and everything. Y'all knocking at the door trying to be successful in the industry, opposed to use your gifts to do things on your own and give yourself a limit. Give yourself a limit. Because when you start mixing with certain crowds, I'm telling you, man, your life is on the line. There's a lot of doors of opportunity that you can go into. And they want you to desire to be in those circles. But I'm telling you now, take your gifts and put a limit to them. How far do you want to go? As long as you got food, clothes, shelter, and raiment, you able to eat. You could pay your bills, and you could do what it is you love. You could do what it is you love doing, and you don't want or need nothing. Man, you winning. You winning. Telling you. Jared, the 20-year-old recovering addict, says, I tried telling people it's like a sick form of Chinese water torch in society, designed to break one's spirit and will power until there's no fight left, but I'll never bow. Exactly.
Someone who radiated kindness and positivity and made sure that people around him could feel it too.
Guest judge, Twitch!
Jennifer Lopez, who worked with Twitch on World of Dance, called him such a light and a beautiful soul.
Yo, does this all sound familiar? This all sounds like when Takeoff died. It all just sounds so familiar. It's always the person in the Hollywood life that is actually a good soul. It's always somebody who was a righteous person that was a light to others. Why is always this individual who mysteriously passes away? It's almost like they all got the same publicist, don't it? Ain't it? Yep. I'm telling you. Just don't make sense, man.
Shocked and deeply saddened.
Great job.
Good job.
All right. Twitch had an emotional reunion earlier this year on the Today Show with his mentor, Dr. Tommy Tania Stewart. She's the former dean of the theater department at Alabama State.
There would not be a Twitch without Dr. Stewart.
Hello.
Stephen Boss said there would be no Twitch without you. What did he give you?
He gave me the validation that I was doing the right thing. And Twitch always made me feel like whatever I said to him that day helped. And I promise you, I've searched my phone to try to see had he called in the last week. I couldn't find evidence that he called.
I just wonder why I never see tears on these people. But man, this is crazy, man. Yemi Demura, thank you so much for the $50 super sticker. Thank you for supporting this work. It's highly appreciated. I think Ellen lined him up in cahoots with his wife. That's my theory. That's what I choose to believe. It seems very strange that she marched down to the police station moments after he left. It just doesn't add up to me. And I don't know if that woman was a crisis actor or not, but they tend to do that. They tend to throw crisis actors in the equation to stimulate and trigger emotion when there's really so many unanswered questions.
I think there are so many people who are saying, wait a minute, we didn't really know him, which is a horrifying thought.
But you did know him. Stephen Boss was always pleasant, always smiling, always ready to help and inspire other people.
The Bible says we battle not against flesh and blood, but wickedness and principalities in high places. Every year that goes by around the holiday season, there's sacrifices that need to be made for the industry to continue to thrive and succeed. There's certain actions that need to be done. And it's almost like the high ups the hierarchy. They get notified that, okay, time to start reaching out to certain branches of this organization, of this coven, and find out who's going to get it, because somebody's required. The Baal worship is real. The Moloch worship is real. And in certain sectors of entertainment, there are positive people. There are light bearers. There are individuals who are actually righteous. But they end up being that one individual that the Satanists and the Luciferians all agree that it's their time. Don't come for us. And a lot of the times, these people are somewhat oblivious to what's to come. But they knew somewhere deep down when they signed the contract to get fortune and fame, they knew there was a possibility that that can be their detriment. Because the Most High God give us all warnings when we take certain paths in our lives. They absolutely live by the motto, don't bite the hand that feeds you. And you're dealing with snakes that are venomous. The industry is no good, ladies and gentlemen. Stop seeking fortune and fame, because it's a very dangerous place. I personally believe this man was a blood sacrifice. I believe that Ellen DeGeneres and wife are involved. Later on down the line, I believe that we're going to be able to see their relationship and connection even more. And, you know, it's unfortunate that this man lost his life. This man had 3 children. That's a situation that is very sad. But Hollywood is a stage. And even off your death, they're going to make sure that they finance their life. Because once you sign on a dotted line, they own your soul, in their opinion, in their eyes. They own your life in all perpetuity. And they believe that they can take you out in a heartbeat. And a lot of the times, they use your mate, your significant other, the one that you right next to. You could be sleeping with the enemy that's ready to line you up and get you up out of there. It is what it is. It's a dirty, dirty game, y'all. Hey, if you gain anything from this stream, it's to critically think and analyze. And don't believe everything the news tell you. You can look at Ellen DeGeneres and you see a witch, a monster, a reprobate. Her name is DeGenerate. She's done her dirt in this industry. She's done a lot of dirt in this industry, allegedly. So let this be a clear warning. Light cannot fellowship with darkness. I repeat, light cannot fellowship with darkness. Gravitate towards the light mind and stay away from the rest of society. It's time that we be set apart. I love each and every one of y'all. Hopefully y'all have a blessed evening. More content coming. Thank y'all for joining. Follow me on Patreon. Exclusive content coming soon. Actually, you never know where my content is going to go. Also, if you have other topics that y'all want to address, reach me at Instagram.com, newbreed404. And everything that y'all want to discuss, I'll be looking into it. Anyway, I want y'all to have a blessed evening. With that being said, shalom and peace.